Hey, it's Greg from Gen X Mindset. I'm seeing a lot of videos here on YouTube from Gen X channels talking about the impending job losses from AI. And while those are legitimate concerns, automation's been taking jobs for over 25 years, mine included. And I'm going to tell you more about that in this video. Gen Xer, remember high school? I know it's a long time for some of us elder Gen Xers to go back that far, but high school, we were told, we were taught, we were instructed to follow the program, get a job, get to college, university, and find a wife, get married, do your 40 years, then you retire. And that was, a pretty good prescription for a lot of people. Not my route that I took, but for a lot of people, I know that they followed that path and they've been doing incredibly well with it. Show up, do your job, get your paycheck, feel like you're valued. Then sometime around the late 90s, early 2000s, things started to change. And I know that firsthand because I watched my radio career slowly get taken over by computers and the internet. Back in the early 90s, I was living the dream. I graduated college in the late 80s in business administration, and after trying to administer businesses, I decided that wasn't for me, and I ended up somehow working in the radio industry, and it was magnificent. Sitting at the board overnight, spinning CDs, taking callers on the phone, there was a pulse to it, a vibe. And then by the end of the 90s, systems came in. Computer systems, and they played the music. No more CDs, no more automatically playing commercials on what we called carts that looked like 8-tracks. Suddenly the overnight shifts, the ones I started on, they were fully automated and pre-recorded. Weekend announcers, yeah, same deal. Pre-recorded. Voice tracking, I ended up voice tracking for multiple stations, taking jobs until eventually the automation took my job. Radio stations didn't die overnight, they just stopped breathing. The station owners said it was about streamlining, creating a better on-air product with less human error, and also saving money. Which was true, and I can understand it because back at the time, 25 years ago, when the internet came out, it wasn't just radio that was seeing a big impact. It was also newspapers, it was television, and every outlet that was competing for advertising dollars became a target for automation. Radio, newspapers, but also photo labs. Remember when you used to take your photos to a lab to get them processed? How about video? Should we even talk about how we used to go to Blockbuster or Rogers Video, and now that is long gone and we do miss it. We miss that human connection. What we didn't realize back then, we were the beta test. Fast forward to 2025, we're now in phase 2, maybe even phase 3. AI isn't just taking our jobs, it's learning how to do them better, faster, cheaper than we could ever do. Design, writing, customer service, even medical diagnostics. It's not the future anymore, it's now. Gen Xers are the in-between generation. We weren't handed much. We just kind of figured things out as we went. We didn't have iPhones. We had this phone. It was attached to walls, and if you wanted contact numbers, we had to have one of these. And for the smart Gen Xers back in the day, they learned how to code on Commodore 64s. What we didn't learn in school, we figured out on the job. But now, the world is moving so fast. We can't update our internal operating systems fast enough to compete with what is coming down the line almost weekly. And the job market, it's running on a completely different operating system right now. A year ago, they were saying it's just the blue-collar jobs, the ones with a wrench or a forklift, those will be the first to be replaced. But now, it's the so-called safe jobs. Writers, designers, editors, human resources, sales, lawyers, voiceover people. The system just doesn't want to replace physical labor. It wants to replace redundancy. Where does that leave Gen X? Too young to retire, too old to pivot and learn new job skills every 6 months. We're getting ghosted by job postings, and if you've ever tried to find a job lately, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Being told to reskill for jobs that might not exist in 6 months? But here's the thing, we've always been underestimated and we've always figured things out. Can we do that now? This isn't just about robots taking our job. It's about who we become when the work goes away. It's about reclaiming purpose, building new paths, getting loud about what we still have to offer. Because if we don't fight for relevance, no one else will. I do not have all the answers, and I will not pretend that I do, but I do have a lot of experience in reinventing myself, and that's what I'm doing with this channel. Drop a comment below and let me know if you have similar experience with reinventing yourself or finding yourself being phased out of a job that you thought you would be in for life. Basically, because we're in this together. In a future video, I'm going to do a presentation of 4 elements that I have come up with to kind of structure my life around to stay focused, because as we all know, where attention goes, energy flows.